careful steps would watch the turning tide. Not much said, not much seen, just keys and gates each day. But something in his watchful eyes never turned away. The cannons faced the open sea. The wall stood firm and strong, built to guard from ships afar that might not pass along. But he would walk the shoreline low when daylight slipped from view, for what he watched was not the sea, but what lay breaking through. Oh, the keeper of Fort Victoria knows what lies below, not just stone and shifting sand, but worlds from long ago, where warm seas once held life in sway, and creatures moved unseen, still waiting in the hidden ground from an age that once had been.
UK Fossils follows all laws and regulations regarding fossil hunting. In some of our videos we use hammers to extract fossils from rocks. These rocks are not part of the bedrock. They are ex situ rocks that have naturally broken away from the bedrock and are legal to collect under SSSI regulations.
So this is our first time visiting Fort Victoria, and it looks like a really nice beach. There's beautiful sand and a lovely place to bring families. We literally just stepped onto the beach and we've already found some pieces of turtle carapace.
So we're very excited to be here today because of all the years we've been to the Isle of Wight, we've never actually been to this location before. It's new to us. We absolutely love visiting Hampstead, Boldner and Thorness Bay. So this is quite a surprise knowing about this actually, especially when we've learnt about the amazing finds that have been made at this site. Now it is very similar to Hampstead Boulders area. You've got the crocodile, turtle remains, early mammals. So this will be a brand new location we're going to add on the UK Fossils website, and shortly we'll be joined by special guests today, Wight Coast Fossils. They're going to talk us through this site and some of the finds they've made here.
Hi guys, so I'm Jack from Wight Coast Fossils. I run Wight Coast with Megan and Theo, and we're here over at Fort Victoria. So what you've got here, everything north, on the north side of the Isle of Wight, is Paleogene age. So it's around about 35-40 million years old. We're down here at Fort Victoria. We've got the Headon Hill Formation and the Bembridge Limestone Formation down here. So we're looking about 34 to 36 million years old for things like crocodiles, turtles and fish.
Yeah, hi, I'm Joe. I also work for the guys at Wight Coast Fossils as well. I also do my own fossil walks down at Highcliffe Beach on the mainland under South Coast Fossils as well. But yeah, a little bit of background about the site as well. So Jack's already gone through about 35 million years old. Looking at the Headon Hill Formation here. And we get some really interesting fauna and fossils down here. And so a lot of the fossils you do find are relatively small compared to a lot of other sites. But it's a really good place to look for micro vertebrate remains. So places like down here on the beach where you can see these nice kind of platforms, shingle banks, are really good to get down and have a real good look through for any maybe small mammal teeth, maybe even larger mammal teeth, crocodile remains, turtle shell. So this environment used to be very different to what it's like now. It would have been a big kind of almost like a swampland. So loads and loads of kind of fresh water everywhere, lots of little river channels running through. So a little bit like the Everglades in Florida is a really good comparison to what it's like, what it used to be like here about 35 million years ago. So a really interesting site, and lots of little fossils to be found as well. So we're going to have a little look for those now.
So as you go along, these pebble patches along here, these are your key sort of areas, especially right down towards the water's edge. So the tide line's getting all those pebbles wet, so it really brings out the contrast of the bones, the alligator teeth, and the mammal remains as well.
I just picked up another bigger piece of turtle fragment. So they're all kind of like laying in the shingle down here, which is where we're picking them up at the moment. We're just having a little look here. So the best place to find crocodile teeth is actually down here in the shingle. So your best bet is to actually get down onto your hands and knees if you're able, and just sift through the shingle. Just pull away the seaweed lightly like that, and often enough you do come across some crocodile teeth. Just brush it very, very lightly, because if there is any teeth hiding, you don't really want to be pushing them out the way. If you notice anything that looks an odd shape or has that shiny effect to it, pick it up, and it's always worth taking a look.
So we've just been looking in this area just for the last half an hour or so, where we've just managed to pick up these finds here. So we're just going to talk through what we've actually got here.
So yeah, you guys have got a really nice little selection of stuff. Some really, quite a nice diverse kind of assemblage of fossils you've got here. And the first one that actually caught my eye here, this is a really nice little thing. So this is a little spine from a catfish. So these are actually quite rare down here. I don't think I've actually seen one down here before.
Wow.
You can find them at other sites on the island on the north coast, such as Boldner. This is a really nice example right at the base of this big spine here. So that's quite nice.
Something that really caught my eye was this. So this is a little amia fish jaw. So this is off a bowfin fish. And you can see you've got about 4 or 5 teeth sockets there that are really shallow, and they're very almost square-like in section. That's a really cool thing. You don't come across them too often, so that was a really nice thing to come across.
Yeah, speaking of amia, there's a few other little amia bits in here. So amia was a big predatory fish. It's still actually around today, found in the US, but is quite kind of worldwide back in the Eocene. So both of these are also amia fossils. So this is part of the operculum, which is kind of the cheek flap almost, so the entrance to the gills. That's quite a nice kind of textured bone on the surface, very thin and quite sheep-like and shiny. So that's a really good way of telling fish bone apart from other kind of reptile bones and things like that. There's also little vertebrae from the amia, so they're quite chunky, quite big things, very convex on either side. So that's how we can tell it's fish and not other reptile bones or anything like that. Nice bits then.
Yeah, got some lovely bits. There's also a lovely little alligator tooth here, found by Alice. So this is off an alligator called Diplocyanodon hantionensis. It's about 35 million years old. And they're really nice things to find. This one's really crisp, it's really pointed. And it's quite small as well, so really hard to pick out. So it's a really good little spot there. Yeah. It's really nice. And there's a bit of crocodile, a bit of alligator there as well. So you've got part of an alligator scoop. Again, from the Headon Hill Formation.
You can see with all this handful here, see some of the most common things that we can turn up. Oh, I didn't actually realise this was part of Trionyx shell here. So the most common turtle species we get here is quite an unornamented turtle, so a pond turtle called Emis. This is actually a different species of soft shell turtle. It's called Trionyx here. You can see they've got a really lovely pattern on the surface. So sometimes it is quite hard to tell between bits of crocodile scute and bits of Trionyx turtle shell there. But the best way is to kind of look for the thickness first of all. So Trionyx pieces are usually quite thick. They've also got lots of lovely bone cell structure on the inside. With crocodile scutes, you do have a little bit of that, but they're much more platy and sheet-like, just due to them being dermal bones. So they kind of form in a slightly different way. But yeah, quite a bit rarer than the more common pond turtle. So that's a really nice chunk of that Trionyx shell there.
And then we've got the more common pond turtle here, the Emmys, with that smooth shell, unornamented structure. So you can really see the difference between the two there. So a really nice little haul there in half hour.
Well,
yeah,
thank you.
Start.
Some really fascinating information there as well. Thank you.
That's a bit of croc scute. So yeah, it's quite a weird one. Yeah, so I think that's a marginal scoop. So a lot of the scoops you see, they've got all these kind of divots right to the edge of the scoop. This one's got a really big kind of lip on it. So they're quite strange. So half of the scoop on this side would be kind of not really ornamented, and the other half is slightly ornamented. And right on the edge of kind of the side of the belly almost, so a little marginal. Okay. Yeah.
Now, shark's teeth are actually incredibly rare at this site. Joe was explaining to us that they're not quite sure exactly where they come from. They're either coming from a bed in the cliff which they haven't pinned down, or they're just being washed from round the corner.
What's my imagination? Is that like
Oh, it is, yeah, little shard of a little Saridon tooth there, for sure, good stuff. Yeah, little glass scale where it looks, yeah. Lovely, cute teeth. Too bad. Probably have a go on the little bay there if you guys are
Yeah, okay.
I have that.
So I'm not sure if you can see this down here, but we've just spotted a tooth. Now, it's actually broken on one side, which makes it a little bit tricky to identify, but I'm now zooming into it now. You can see it there. Now, if I was to turn this over and put it on my hand, you'll be able to see it a bit better. So the reptile bones, how do you tell them? The little amphibian bones?
Really tricky to identify, and they're also quite sheet-like, like fish bones, but they're just a little bit smaller. They're kind of more vertebrae and things like that, a bit easier to identify, but kind of loose pieces, tiny little bits of bone, very hard to tell apart from fish. Just the more diagnostic parts. The little jaws you can find down here as well, tiny little kind of tooth sockets in them. Relatively rare for the amphibian, but you can occasionally find snake vertebrae, lizard vertebrae. They're a bit more common.
Snake vertebrae are cool, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're
really
very
awesome.
diagnostic.
For sure.
They're really different from the fish verts, but yes, a lot of the undiagnostic bone, much harder to tell. Very similar to fish.
Yeah, verts and stuff. Yeah, pretty easy to ID. It does a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Bit of rough through there.
So this was actually identified by Joe as a sturgeon fish fragment. It's quite a nice find actually.
Put that leg over there first. Yeah, you can do that.
So we've really enjoyed our time here at Fort Victoria. We've made some fantastic finds and we are so grateful to White Coast Fossils who have helped us at the site today. Their knowledge has been fantastic and they've managed to identify some really nice finds that we managed to find together. So thank you White Coast Fossils and thank you to everyone who's watching this video. We really enjoyed the Isle of Wight so far. So we're incredibly grateful to Joe and Jack to show us the site today. Their expertise in this area is fantastic. It enabled us to identify some really good finds. They actually do tours themselves. White Coast Fossils do this area, so we'd recommend if you are coming to this area to check them out and book a tour with them. They are very good people. They know what they're doing.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoy fossil hunting, like and subscribe to our channel for regular videos on where to collect, hints, tips and location updates. UK Fossils always collects responsibly and is proud to have created the Fossil Code, which helps educate others. We encourage you to read the Code of Conduct and guidelines on our website before going fossil hunting yourself. Safe and sensible collecting is always paramount. The information provided in our videos is for general guidance only. While we aim to ensure accuracy, UK Fossils cannot accept responsibility for any errors, omissions or actions taken based on this content. It is your responsibility to check local regulations and land access permissions before collecting.